Oh my gosh.
I think it's really important.
It's probably so liberating.
I mean, that's something I think about a lot.
I know. There's pros and cons to both, so I'm always just curious.
Starting my business, if I got that comment, I would probably just cry.
Hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to Unfiltered Fashion Talks. Today we have Monica with us, the long-awaited guest. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you? So happy to be here.
I am so good. It is so nice to be talking to you today. I saw you so recently too, but
I know.
it's nice to catch up again.
No, I know. As you know, I've watched your YouTube videos way before I actually met you in person. So this is
so
also
funny.
strange for me. I mean, in a good way. Like, I'm so happy I'm here and everything, but I'm happy we met. I'm happy, we're able to do this. Yeah.
No, me too. It's been so fun. And I love finding people like that too, because I feel like I've had those moments where it's like I've followed somebody for so long and then out of nowhere they reach out to me and I'm like, oh my gosh, we can be friends. Like, this is so weird.
It's so strange, especially since I never thought I would get this far in my side hustle thing, where I would actually be meeting people that I'm watching and aspire to be like.
Yeah,
so,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's very unbelievable.
It is. It's a small world, but
it is.
Yeah. So let's just get into it for those who don't know who you are and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us a little background on, what you do and how we met, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'll do that. My name is Monica. I am 26 years old. I live in New Jersey, and I'm first and foremost a software engineer, which is kind of interesting, but
super fun.
I guess. But one of my main passions is fashion, basically, and sustainability, and combining that in some ways. So in 2019, I created my brand. It was called Monica's DIYs at the time, because I kind of made everything from scrunchies to candles to little knickknacks here and there, mainly because I graduated college and needed something extra to fill my time.
Yep.
So I just started making random things. I found a sewing machine in my parents' old house, and I was like, why not? Let me just try to pick this up again, because I did know how to sew. I just, never practiced. So I picked it up. I kind of liked it. It was kind of soothing to just, be with my sewing machine, not to talk to anyone, just do my own thing. And then this really cool piece of clothing comes out, out of all my hard work. So I thought that process was really cool. I started sewing more and more things for myself and for my family, my friends, and kind of gathered a following on my Instagram that I created just to showcase things that I made. Because I was like, I made it, I might as well show it to everyone.
Right.
And people started following me. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Mainly just friends and family. But I decided, if you like my stuff and I keep making it, I don't want to hoard everything that I make. Maybe I'll try selling it. And people started buying my things. Again, all of this was very shocking. It was never my intention to get to the place where I am now. But now I am at a point where I do have a registered business called Monica's Collective. I sell all over the world now, all handmade apparel. I still do candles and scrunchies and all things like that, but I like to focus on apparel now. And yeah, I guess I'm sustainable in that the way I source my materials is usually secondhand, dead stock fabrics, just other natural fibers, and anything I can get at the thrift store, I will get at the thrift store.
Yes.
Economically makes sense and sustainably makes sense. So yeah, that's all about me. And it's only been 3 years, I guess, at this point. So I'm not, the most established brand in the world. I'm still growing a lot and still deciding what I want to be and what I want to make of this. Because as I said, I am a software engineer.
Yeah.
My 9 to 5. I didn't, let that go yet. I'm still, working on both things at the same time. So yeah, I'm trying to see where I want this to go. But right now I'm just enjoying where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty solid. You've got a year on me, so I'm only not even technically 2 years in yet. I will be in next month, but
no, it's so interesting how some people will study this stuff and know from their childhood that they want to be a designer, they really want to be in the fashion industry, and then other people just pick it up later on, and we all kind of end up around the same place.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not to say that I'm as good as you because I didn't
No,
study
but
any of this,
it's I
but
know like a lot of people that are like that, where it's like I'm the type of person that's like known forever that I wanted to do this, but there's plenty of people I've had on where it's like a later in life thing that they started, and it wasn't like
yeah.
even in their like mid 20s or whatever, it's like, oh, let me take this up, and then it actually works out for them, and it's like crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's like thanks to people like you also who put out your life on the
Yeah.
internet and
Yeah.
show other people like that you can do this. Like you like
Right.
openly say that you don't need a fashion degree
Yeah.
to pick up, sewing in general. So yeah, I mean, I just watched a lot of YouTube videos. I learned what I could. I
Hmm.
started meeting people who actually do this for a living, started learning from them. And it's just, a learning process, somewhat self-taught, mainly YouTube people
I
helped
mean,
me.
that's pretty much self-taught, I would say.
Yeah, it's incredible the kind of information is out there nowadays though. Like
Yeah.
I will have an issue with my sewing machine, like it'll just break and I won't know what's wrong.
Hmm.
I'll Google like my type of model and whatever, what's going wrong, and then whole blog posts of exactly
Literally.
how to fix it. I'm like,
Literally.
it's so easy to, learn nowadays.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just how this all happened too.
No, yeah, but that's so true. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, you don't really need to go to fashion school because all the information is there, but you do have to look for it and be like, on
Yeah.
yourself to get on it, and not everybody can. So, some people do need school, but it's just like there is so much out there. You can so easily learn on your own if you put the time and
Yeah.
effort.
Yeah, I really did put in a good amount of time because when I graduated in
Yeah.
2019, I, had friends that I would hang out with, but it gets tiring going out every single day to, spending money on dinner.
Right.
And then that just, becomes a little redundant. So I
Mhm.
did spend basically, 6 p.m. until when I went to sleep every single day for a couple of years, just trying to learn all this
Right.
stuff. Um, so it's doable. Um,
Yes.
I don't know, how much time people are willing to put in, but like I see so many other people doing it too.
Yeah, no, it is very true. Do you have like specific YouTube channels that you watched, or was it more just like typing in specific techniques and stuff and then clicking on the first one?
YouTube channels I go for. It just started with me Googling things, but I noticed the same like 4 or 5 people would come up all the
Yeah.
time who I think we all just
Yep.
learned how to sew from. It's the same people. I mean, Kiana would come up all the time, who I think
Love her.
you recently had on.
Yeah.
Um, some I You just had her on. I always mispronounce her name, so I
Listen, I
don't want
can't
to say.
pronounce it either, but I know who you're
Okay. Yeah.
See, I always say Kachi, but I know that's wrong because I
Yeah.
know it's German and I know the CH is pronounced differently, but I will make a fool of myself if I try to pronounce it that way.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah,
you know,
watch a lot of her
yeah,
stuff. I
she's
also go
really
on
good.
Etsy a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
patterns from Etsy. I just use all the time.
Yep.
But yeah, just looking around and everyone's so helpful. Like people who make these videos
Yeah.
genuinely really want you to learn
It's so
how to
true.
make the piece of apparel. So yeah,
Yeah, no, that is so true. I feel like the community of like sewing YouTube is like really, really nice and very helpful. Like everybody's very open to like genuinely wanting to see you succeed, which is so nice.
definitely. And I also feel like there are a lot of, I mean, this is somewhat a stereotype, somewhat
Mhm.
legit, but a lot of moms know how to sew
Yeah,
and will post a lot of videos. And I'm like, no, that's so awesome. Like my mom knows how to sew too. I don't know where she learned that from. Maybe
my
her
mom
mom.
doesn't.
No, I think it's such a good skill to have. And I feel like a lot of
Mhm.
people older than us like know how to do it. And for some
Yeah.
reason, it wasn't passed down to us in the same way it was to them. And
Mhm.
it's such an important skill because like if you have a rip in your jeans or something, nowadays people will go out and buy a new pair.
Right.
That pair of jeans is just done. It ripped, it's old, you can't use it
Mhm.
anymore. But and when it comes to sustainability, if you knew how to make those little fixes, it would take you maybe 10, 15 minutes. And you would feel a little bit of pride in the fact that you were able to, save your favorite pair of jeans
Yeah.
and you would save money. So I think it's really important. It's a pretty important skill for everyone to know.
No, I think so too. Like I feel like it literally should be taught in schools. And I know it was at some point a thing that people learned, but like I don't know why they stopped, because even just like learning how to freaking sew a button for when it falls off your
Yeah,
shirt or whatever. It's like easy fixes will save you so much money and like so much time, where it's like you don't have to go to a tailor to get things tailored, because like I mean it's not that expensive, but like it could add up, and you could
yeah,
save your money that way, or like making things fit like a little bit better if they're store bought, or
exactly.
like I don't know, there's a lot.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to play the game of chance when you buy when you buy a dress, like, will this fit me
Right.
exactly the way I want to? And most likely it doesn't, because
Yep.
the way sizing works is that it's not catered to any one particular or it is catered to one particular person, and nobody
Right.
fits that one size.
Literally.
So, like, when you are able to mend your own clothes, you feel the sense of pride that you have made it, you made it to
Yeah.
fit yourself, and you feel more inclined to keep it rather than throw it out, earlier.
Yeah.
Then you should probably throw it out, or, get rid of it. Yeah, I think it's pretty important.
It is, especially if you are short and you need to hem everything.
Oh my gosh, that's me. I'm 5
Like I feel
foot.
like I hem. I'm not
I'm-
even like that short. I'm like 5'2" or 5'3". But like I feel like dresses just hit me at a weird length where it's like just like an inch too long. And I'm like, I just
Yep,
wanted it a little tiny bit shorter, just a little bit, you know?
exactly. Yeah, and thankfully my mom was able to do that for me when I was younger. But
Right.
now that I've moved out and I'm on my own, I'm like, I gotta learn these things. It's kind of
Yeah.
like learning how to cook for yourself. Now it's like
Yes.
basic things, like I can't buy something without worrying like about going home to ask my mom to help me. Now I can
Right.
do it on my own. So
No, that's
it's a
so
good feeling.
funny. Yes, yes, it is. So I want to talk about pop-up shops with you because you've done a
Yeah.
lot, from what I can tell. And I just like recently started doing a few, and I've had a lot
Hmm.
of people ask me about pop-up shops. And I'm like, I just feel like I'm not like I haven't done enough to like give a whole episode on my own about them. But I'm like, you know what? You've got experience. You've done a
Yeah.
lot. So I want to hear it from you. What did you always do pop-up shops like from the beginning, or when did you start doing them?
No, I started last year, so kind
Okay.
of recently, but as soon as I did my first one, I was like, I need to do more of these. I became
Yeah.
obsessed. Like, if you look at, I have a new YouTube channel. Like, I
Mm.
recently started posting a little more consistently. And that's because I wanted to show people all these pop-up shops I'm going to, because I was
Right.
obsessed with the experience. It's so fun. But it's a whole different thing than selling online.
Oh
So
yeah.
you get to create your entire booth setup and how you want to display your clothes and make it look eye-catching so people come and
Mhm.
become interested in what you have to sell. And you also have to speak up for yourself. So I kind of learned
Yes.
how to be proud of what I'm selling and convince people like you do want this. And it
Yeah.
is better than alternatives like, fast fashion brands and things like that, and the reasons why, and speaking in a way where people kind of understand where I'm coming from. And I didn't really have that before. I would, write up little descriptions on my website, why sustainability is important, why my brand is different. But being able to
Mhm.
speak about it and have a conversation with someone who doesn't fully, understand the sustainability movement, or, why it matters, is like a whole different skill that I
Oh
learned.
yeah.
And it's so important to, I think, be able to speak about your brand in that way. So I really loved every experience I've had. It's also really cool because you see live criticism happening like
Yes,
before
you
your eyes
do.
about your products. So someone will come up and like they don't think you can hear, but
Hmm.
you can. So they'll
Yes.
say, positive or negative things. And even when you ask people for reviews online, they sometimes don't give it to you straight because they either want to be nice or they want to
Right.
be, super mean for whatever reason. So,
Hmm.
hearing it live is, so helpful. I've heard someone say like, oh, this scrunchie is way too loose or something like that. And I was like, well, I guess that's a good point. I've only been sizing it
Right.
to my wrist. I didn't consider, other sizes. Maybe I should like look into that. Literally
Yeah.
never something like I thought about before. And then other people would go up to my rack and be like, why are there only like a couple sizes? And I'd be like, oh, it's because I hand make everything and I only had enough time. And they're like, you handmade all of this? So, you
Yep.
get like that kind of interaction where you kind of experience people realizing people can make clothes and it can look just as cool as, trendy clothes out there, but have a
Mhm.
purpose behind it. So it's so fun. I think you should, I think I know you did like one or two, but like you
Yes.
should definitely do more in different
Yeah.
environments. There's so many different types of people in different cities, different states. So it's so
Mhm.
cool to see how different people react to what you make.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I did a couple like back to back this past month, and I did one at Indiana University. So it was like college kids. And that one was interesting because it's like college kids are kind of my demographic. Like it's
Hmm.
like college kids are like recent grads, like, early mid 20s tends to be my like main target
Yeah.
range. And it's like fine, and they get it and it's good, but like they don't have the money usually to
Right.
support. So it was like I
Right.
knew going into it, like the reality is I was probably not going to sell very much at all, besides maybe like scrunchies or something like that, because
Yeah.
that's like the most that college kids could probably afford. But like, see, like that was fun because it was like I could see everybody's reactions, be like, oh my God, this is so cute or whatever. But it's also like the first pop-up I did. And like you said, you have to learn how to like pitch yourself almost, which
Hmm.
I was not doing correctly. Like it took me, I think, like an hour and a half into the pop-up to like actually be like actively like getting people to come to me. Whereas
No,
like you
yeah,
kind of expect people to come up to your booth, but then sometimes people don't, and you have to be like, hey, how are you doing? And like trying to get them in.
true.
And like
Yeah,
as an introvert, like that is so hard.
it is. It's hard. And it's also like, is my stuff actually that good where I think I should tell
Right.
you to buy it? You like
I
have to question yourself.
know.
And I've also realized the quality of the stuff I bring to pop-ups is a little bit better than
Yeah.
the normal stuff that I make because I know like people will see it and I'm gonna see them seeing it and I don't want to be embarrassed. So,
Yeah.
I feel that I've worked extra hard on the products that I make and like quality assurance has been like the number one thing I think about when doing
Mhm.
these pop-ups because I want people to actually take a look and be like, this is very well made, and I want to see that happen.
Right.
But yeah, overall, so cool. I also do pop-ups that are part of overall markets, like kind of like
Mhm.
farmers markets,
Yeah.
except for artisans.
Mhm.
I do a lot of those here where I live. We have a ton of those,
That's so nice.
and it's so nice to meet other people who do
Mhm.
things like this. This one guy I had at a booth next to mine, he made his own cutting boards, which is entirely different than what I do. But he
Mhm.
was talking to me about like like taxes to be as a small business and like little things
Right.
here and there, and I learned so much from them. So just like, participating in like the small business community is
Mhm.
so helpful. So yeah, I definitely recommend to any person, even if you're a hobbyist, just go and try
Honestly,
to do
yeah.
it. It's such a cool experience.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that do those are people that do it like as a side thing, usually
Hmm.
anyway. Like I don't think that, I mean, there are a lot that do it full time, but also I feel like there's a lot of people that just like genuinely like to do something for funsies outside of
Right.
work.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. And like another reason why I created my brand is because I was just making too many things and like holding
Yeah.
on to too many things. And I wanted to experiment with making different sizes or things that I personally don't like, but I wanted to, try out making
Right.
style. So I just needed to eventually give it to someone else's hands. And I think that's, a lot of artisans in general, you just like love the act of making things.
Right.
And, there's no point in you hoarding all of it. So like share it with everyone.
Right. Right. And I feel like you also have an advantage doing it like as a side thing where it's like probably still fun for you, and you're like
Yeah.
not relying on it as like your sole income is probably so liberating.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I think about a lot that
Mhm.
sometimes people think that in order to have a hobby, you have to monetize it
Right.
because otherwise it's not worth your time, which I entirely disagree with.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't make too much money off of my side hustle, this
Right. Like
Monica's
it's hard
collective
to
brand.
make money off of a clothing
Yeah,
brand like that.
exactly. My goal is to just not lose money from the hobby that I
Exactly.
make, just
Yes.
to kind of break even. But I really encourage people to go and do whatever it is they want to do. It's not a waste of time if you enjoy doing it.
Right.
You don't have to force yourself to make it so legit where you get to quit your job and do that full time. Sometimes you just need something on the side to
Mhm.
fill up some time.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like sometimes I wish I had something on the side to fill up my time because I'm like I love what I do, but there are days where I'm like
Mhm.
I wish I didn't have to rely on just this because like it gets so much more stressful and it takes like the fun out of it sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm trying to find that balance too, where I'm deciding if I want to grow this any further or
Right.
if I want to keep it just as a hobby. And I've noticed that, people really like my stuff and
Mhm.
I'm feeding off of that energy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, then you should check out my next collection, which I don't even have planned yet, but I'm
Me.
pitching it already because I'm just so excited that they like my
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm trying to learn how to calm myself down and just take the compliment, be
Mhm.
like, they're always going to love that one thing that they said. They didn't ask for more. I'm the person who's
Yep.
offering them more. So just trying to balance that. And for you it's probably tough because whether you like it or not you probably have to offer them more.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I feel like it's different depending on how you want to take the business or the hobby or whatever it is, and you just have to
Right.
decide what's best for you.
Right. Would you ever like have you considered doing it full time ever, or is it something that you like know that you're always going to do as a side thing? Because like obviously like we met because of like the fun little runway show that we did. So it's
Yeah.
like, that's like a bigger event, a bigger investment into a brand, but it's like I don't know, just like would you ever do it full time or what's the vibe? I'm sure you've thought about it a lot, but
I always think about this.
Mhm.
I would if it wasn't specifically selling clothes, because as you
Mhm.
know, it takes too much time to
Oh
make
yeah.
one article of clothing for little return,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
So I would need to learn how to scale it. I would love for my YouTube channel to take off, because I feel
Mm.
like that kind of stuff um, is kind of just stuff that you can put out there and then you leave it, and
Yep.
that can be a source of income,
Literally,
versus this one dress, once it's made I get paid for it, and then that's that. So I would need to learn how to scale it. I'm not sure. As I said, as a software engineer, it's more of like a comfortable career. I feel like
oh, for
you
sure.
know what to expect, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at it too, and I enjoy doing it. It's what I studied in school, so it's also hard
Mhm.
to let that go
Yeah.
and pursue like a passion project, I guess. I'm also still kind of young, and I
Right.
don't know if I'm ready to like take that risk yet, especially with, where I want the rest of my life to go. So still deciding. I will let you know when
No,
I
that's
figure it
fair.
out.
That's fair. I feel like there's pros and cons to both like ends of it. Like I think that I don't know, keeping like your normal 9 to 5, allows you the stability to then be able to always continue it. Whereas like if you go full time with like your brand, then there is no stability and that can get really stressful. But it's like, I don't know, there's pros and cons to both. So I'm always just curious.
Yeah. And this is like a little story, but I actually
Mhm.
entered college studying music because that was my
Really?
passion in high school, throughout my life. Just
Wait, that's so cool.
it's kind of random,
It
but
is.
very quickly, my freshman year, I switched out of my music degree into
Mhm.
a software engineering, like a computer science degree, because music was my passion at the time and it turned into work. And I was
Yeah.
forced to compose songs. I was forced to play the instrument that I love. It wasn't on my terms anymore. So
Yeah.
I already know I'm not good. And I think not too many people are good at doing what you do, which is, taking your passion and monetizing it,
Yeah.
and, not growing to hate it.
You know
So
what?
I
Let's not speak too soon, but like, no, just kidding. I love it. But yeah, it is
yeah.
really hard. It's like a very, very fine line.
Yeah.
But
But I'm
yeah.
glad I made that distinction early on, because now I love music. What if I, continued
Yeah.
with that and ended up like hating that entire part of my life? So, my 9 to 5 work is something that I like. I'm not, the most passionate person about it, but I'm good in
Mhm.
it and I like it. I don't hate it because I have this side hustle that,
Right.
fulfills me in that same way.
Yeah. No, I think that's such a good way to go about it. It seems like a much healthier mindset.
No, but sometimes, if you have a dream, which is, to have a fashion brand, you got to
Right.
grind at it. You got to make it like your full thing, and,
Yeah,
not have you got to have blinders and just, go straight for it. So,
it's
you
true.
know, every person's different.
It is true. That is true. I feel like I like that perspective because I don't think I've had anybody on the podcast that has that like 9 to 5 and then doing it as a side thing yet. But I feel like that's good for people to know that that's like a thing that you can do and it's
Oh,
like totally
100%.
fine,
Yeah.
you
And I
know?
feel like when you see all these, like on TikTok, when all these brands blow up, like especially during quarantine
Oh my
times when
God, yeah.
everyone had their side hustles blow up, everyone's like, oh, that's how it should be. You have
Yeah.
a hobby, it blows up, you quit your job and then you do that full time. But
But
that's
like
not
it's
the
not that
case for a lot of
easy.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's somewhat good to have two different lives, because it keeps it
Yeah.
exciting. After I'm done making all my clothes and my hands hurt, my back hurts, I can
Right.
go to my office and collaborate with my other software engineer friends and be all nerdy and whatever, and then come back here
Right.
and be creative. So it's, a little bit of the best of both worlds.
It is. No, that's a really good balance to have. I think that's smart on your end. Um
Thank
yeah.
you.
I mean, I feel like I have a certain balance because like I do like YouTube and this, so it's like I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
kind of switch between both, which is nice because if it was just my brand and I did nothing else, I think I would go stir crazy. Like I need to be
There's
able to
yeah,
switch between things like
there's a reason why all these fast fashion companies have millions and millions of people working for them sewing,
yeah.
in a way where they're doing it all day, but like they still have a lot of people doing it, because that's how you scale things, and we can't do
Mhm.
that, so we end up getting tired. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, hopefully people value the things that you make more because they know how committed you are to
I
this.
know. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. But no, people are, I feel like, really nice about it. So we were talking about like criticisms and stuff earlier at pop-up shops. Do you have like any like horror stories from pop-up shops? Like, have people ever like said anything really like rude or like weird? Or like, have you gotten any weird comments about sustainability ever?
Yes,
Because
I've
me too.
gotten well, I've gotten some people who are a little older than us
Yep.
who, it's like a very new concept to them, I
Yeah.
think, or to a lot of them, where I'll say like a scrunchie is $8, which, I get is expensive
Yeah.
compared to, an Amazon $1 scrunchie.
Mhm.
But, I go and explain it's thrifted fabric, or it was fabric that would have otherwise been thrown out and put in the landfills, which are overflowing, and,
Mhm.
like give all the stats and everything. But there's really nothing you can do to convince someone like that. So I kind of just pick and choose my battles
Yep.
and focus on my target audience, which is not someone like them and someone who, is kind of open to hearing about, why things like this are important. And,
Mhm.
I do my best. I'm always polite and everything. Another weird comment, which isn't, doesn't really have much to do with sustainability, but I've heard people say that my clothes look like children's clothes because of I use a
I've
lot of
gotten that
pastels.
too.
I use a lot of
Yep.
bright colors, pastels, and
Yep.
like cutesy. It was trendy at the time, so I would make
Yeah.
these like baby doll dresses.
No, same. Like
And
I love them.
no, I know baby doll dresses and like very flowy, like I don't even know how to describe it. Just very flowy skirts.
Yeah.
And I get that children wear that, but I also know that like I also wear it, and so do a
Yeah.
lot of my peers. But I've heard a lot of like parents say, "Oh no, that's like for a child," and then her friend will be like, "No, I think that's for an adult." And be like, "Oh, it looks like it's for like an infant." I'm like, I don't know.
Yikes.
I think it's okay, but that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, that's funny because I never thought of it that way. It's funny that you
Yeah.
think that way, but there's nothing I can do to convince you. And there's an audience who does understand, so it's okay.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I feel like I get that a lot whenever I make like anything that's like smocked or like shirt or whatever.
Yes,
Where like
that's exactly
also
what
it
mine
like
are. Yeah.
shrinks the fabric a lot so it
Yep.
looks like a child, like it looks like a baby like clothes.
Yeah.
Like people are always like, and that's supposed to fit an adult. I'm like, I promise it stretches, like it will fit. But
No, I
it's so
know.
funny.
Yeah, but I mean, I know they're not doing that to hurt me. They would do that to
Right.
in any other store. Like if they walk in Forever 21 and saw the
Oh,
same thing, they'd say
totally.
this, they'd say the same comment. But I guess it hurts a little bit because I'm like, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that, and I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I know.
But you have to remember not everyone feels the same. So that's
No, I
okay.
feel that. I feel that. It happens, but that's okay. I got one weird sustainable like comment from somebody who is like also older. And it wasn't even like rude. Like it was kind of rude, but it wasn't like mean. It was
Okay.
weird because like so I did a pop-up shop with a friend of mine who has like she like sells like thrifted stuff. So it was
Okay.
like my stuff and like her stuff. So it was like, best of both worlds, like the new sustainable stuff and thrifted stuff. And it was at a local coffee shop. So there was a lot of like foot traffic because it was the weekend and like people
Yeah.
just, come in and get their coffee. And this like older woman comes in with her like daughter who's probably in her like mid 30s, maybe late 30s, whatever.
Okay.
And like the mom just comes in and she's like, "What's sustainable fashion?" And like with like that kind of like disgusted look on her face because we had like a sign that
Yeah.
said like sustainable fashion pop-up or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I like go in and like try to explain it. I'm like, "Oh, it just means that like, we use like repurposed things and there's like zero waste," and like kind of went through it very
Mhm.
vaguely without getting too in depth into it. And she just like the entire time I was talking was like just like gave me one of those like disgusted faces. But then she like bought something. So it's not that she was like
Oh,
weirdly thrown off by it. Like it was the weirdest experience ever. I was like,
that's
what the frick?
strange.
Like I was
You know,
expecting her to just be one of those that like doesn't believe in sustainability or whatever, but then she ended
yeah.
up like buying stuff and I was like, "Okay. So you like are
So
we
you,
connecting?" Like
yeah,
I don't understand.
that's so strange.
It's
Yeah,
so
I
weird.
feel like I haven't had that many interactions like that, and I think it has to do with where I live. I'm in a very progressive area,
Totally.
and
I am
I've,
not.
very gratefully been around a lot of people who somewhat think the same as me, like in
Yeah.
terms of the environment and, being purposeful with what you buy and things like
Mhm.
that. So thankfully, I haven't, encountered that. I mean, in my life, I haven't really been to too many areas in the country, in the
Mhm.
world
Yeah.
that, isn't super similar to where I live, which is unfortunate. I would love to like get to know other people's opinions and everything, but
Right.
as as like a 22-year-old starting my business, if I got that comment, I would probably just cry. Like that would be
I was
too much for
about
me.
to, I swear.
I would be like, I don't even know if sustainability is real. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's funny though because like your environment like says so much. Like it's like I did the pop-up at Indiana University, which like it's still in Indiana. Indiana's like very conservative, but it's like having done it at a college town, you could tell the vibes were so different than having
Yeah.
done it here like in the suburbs of Indiana. I'm like so
Yeah.
completely different of like the people that like get it and like understand it and like don't question it versus the people that just gave me weird looks and were like, what the frick is this girl talking about?
No, yeah, it's true. And that's why it's so good that we have e-commerce now and we can sell to
Yeah.
literally anyone, anywhere,
Yeah,
and
thank
social
God.
media. Where like the algorithm is literally on your side and at times,
Oh
to
yeah.
find people who want to listen to you and, have the same beliefs. So
Yeah.
that's very easy. It would be so tough if you were from the middle of nowhere and, you thought you were into fashion, but no one
Yeah.
supported you. So you might have given up your dream. But nowadays, it's a lot easier for people like that, I think.
No, I think so too. I feel like if without the internet, I literally would not be able to do what I do because absolutely nobody would buy anything from me here. I mean, like, sure, there would be like maybe a couple people, but it like would be so much harder to market myself than it
Yeah,
is in like a just a more progressive city.
no, I get it.
You
And I'm
know?
so grateful to be here.
Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah.
that's so nice.
It's not, you should just move to New Jersey.
Listen, it's not like I'm in the midst of moving to LA for that reason, but
Yeah, I guess
yeah,
either coast is a
I
good place
know.
to be for stuff like this.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere is not ideal. It's not the worst. I do enjoy it here. It
Yeah,
just, it's not a place to grow a fashion career, unfortunately.
I get it. But yeah, another thing I've been encountering is lack
Mhm.
of space. And, I don't know how much I want to
Yes.
invest in this because at a certain
Yes.
point, you need not just one desk, but like a series of desks, a series of machines,
Yep.
a whole ton of storage for fabric and all
Yep.
this. And I'm like, if I'm really going to commit to this, I should go all out or I should like cut back because I also
Mhm.
feel like I'm being wasteful if I just, hoard all these things.
Right.
So yeah,
No, that's
it's
very
tough. I mean, you
real,
have a ton of space where you are now, which is such a perk,
which
but
is such a perk, but I'm moving into a one bedroom apartment in LA
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm having that
tough.
problem where it's like I need to downsize so much.
Yeah.
But B, it's like I am not going to have the same setup that I have here. Like I do not
Oh
have
yeah.
that privilege over there. But it's like I can't afford two rents yet either. So it's like it's going
Yeah.
to be a weird transition trying to figure out like the best way to go about it all because it is so hard to find the proper space. Like I hate that sewing takes up so much space.
Yeah. No, I
So
agree.
much.
And I feel like you'll get very creative with it and
Oh
that'll be
yeah.
entertaining for people to watch and see. I have
Right.
one video up of me in my childhood bedroom trying to
Mhm.
arrange. It was like a 12 by 12, 12 foot by 12 foot
Mhm.
childhood bedroom in my parents'
Right.
house. And I had a queen bed because like I had it in
Mm.
college. So I brought it back to my parents' house during
That's
the
nice.
COVID times and everything. But
Mhm.
it took up the whole room. Like it's
Yeah,
super
literally.
big. And that's around when I started my business. So I had like my sewing machine on the foot of my bed. Like there's like a little ledge at the foot of my
Yeah.
bed. I swear for maybe 2 years, that's where I sewed,
That
like
is
at the foot of
so
my bed,
funny.
standing up. I was standing up and like would sew like onto my bed. All the stuff that I was done with, I throw onto my bed. And I
That's
could
so
never tell
funny.
the difference between like clothes that I'm supposed to wear and clothes I'm working on and like stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
got very creative with it and I like posted a video on like how I do it. And like all the comments were like, that's incredible. Like the reason why I haven't like started my candle making business is like I never thought I have enough room. Like you showed me how much space you have under your bed. I'm like,
It's so
yeah,
true
it's true. You
though.
get so creative like when you have constraints. So you'll figure it
Exactly.
out.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think it'll be fun to figure it out, but also it's just going to be sad. It's like funny because I just keep downsizing because at my parents' house, when I like moved back in with them after college, because it was also pandemic times, like
Mhm.
we had this like random bonus room in our house that was like kind of the size of two rooms. Like it was a really big room and it was like my brother and I's like playroom growing up.
Uh-huh.
But obviously, like it's not a playroom anymore.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I took over and had my whole sewing setup. And it was
That's
literally
so
like,
nice.
it's a huge room. It's like 2 in 1. It's like bigger than the master bedroom. Like it was
Wow.
really random
Yeah.
room. But I was like so privileged to have that room and like so much space. And then I moved in here and it's like, okay, now we're in like one smaller bedroom, but it's still a big bedroom and it all fits.
Yeah.
And now I'm like moving again and it's like, okay, now an even smaller, it's going to be like living room plus sewing studio space. Like,
No, yeah,
just keep going
it's
down.
so good that you're like sharing this though, because it's so realistic.
Yeah.
People will think that, you know, you start your business and it only goes up from there. But like
No.
sometimes you gotta struggle somewhere in
Yeah.
the middle, like a lot, in order to
Absolutely.
get, you know, past that.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is good that you're being honest.
Yeah, no, I am here for it. I'm like, I can't even like attempt to fake that I'm doing better. Like it's just not like no.
You just need some good windows so your videos
Yes,
will look okay.
that is the
And that's really
one
all you need.
thing. When I was looking at apartments, I was like, I just need natural lighting. Like I
Yeah.
do not care about anything else that much, but like please let there be good natural lighting because otherwise I
Yeah.
will be depressed and my videos will look like trash.
It's so true. That's another thing with sewing. It's like an indoor activity. You can't do
Yeah.
it outside
No, you
unless you
can't.
like throw an extension cord out there.
It's probably not
So
good.
I've been spending a lot of time inside and that's kind of draining because when the
Yeah.
summertime comes, you want to like go and enjoy your time. But
Mhm.
you're like, is my hobby worth staying inside?
I know it
It's
kills me.
really
I'm like,
not.
yeah, I'm like the sun's shining and you look outside your window and there's like people walking or whatever. I'm like, oh, I wish I could be out there, but I
Yeah,
can't.
I know. It's rough.
It is rough. It is rough. But thank you so much for coming on today. It was so fun to have you.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was a dream. Like quite literally,
Oh my
I would
gosh.
watch you and I'd be like, oh, she's so cool. Like you're younger than me,
And
obviously,
then
but
you meet
I
me and you're
still
like,
like
oh wait, she's actually not that cool.
no, you're so cool and so nice.
It's
I
so
mean,
funny.
it's so crazy. Yeah, I guess about that Joshua Tree thing that we did.
Yeah.
It was just so crazy that everyone was so supportive. Like I tell everyone,
Yeah.
like all the other designers who were there were so cool. Some I think you were the only one doing it full time, and we were
Yeah.
all like complaining about how we have to get back to work the next
I
day. But
know.
it's
And
so
I'm just
cool
like,
to. It was just so cool to find people who I related to because I didn't know anyone like Kate and Sarah and Micah.
right.
So yeah, that was really fun. And I'm very glad I got to meet everyone in person.
Yes.
But yeah, no, for real. So happy to be here.
No, me too. Me too. Happy to have you on. Shout yourself out, plug yourself. Where can people find you?
Yes, of course. Well, my website is monicascollective.com and all my social media is Monica's Collective. I mainly post on Instagram and sometimes TikTok. I'm trying. I'm really working on that.
Yes.
And I do have a YouTube channel under my personal name, Monica Razak. So you can find me there.
Yes, I'll have it all linked down below. So go check it out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.